Welcome into Top Shelf, presented by The Score. I'm your host, Levi Smith. Joining me is John Matisz, and a very special guest today, PK Subban. Thank you so much for joining us today, PK.
Thanks for having me, guys.
It's awesome. We got a couple things we want to talk to you about, but first and foremost, we got to touch on Rivals, the Four Nations Face-Off series that's coming out. Now, you starred in this. Me and John had the luxury of watching it. It was awesome, like the behind-the-scenes stuff and everything.
Thank you.
If you're a hockey fan, you got to check it out. It's out tonight, February 5th on CBC TV and CBC Gem. But you also helped be an executive producer in this, as I understand. So walk me through the process of, being in front of the camera, being behind the camera too, and, how this all came to fruition.
Yeah, there was a lot of trust to Jan and his group and the production group that put this thing together. I think when we first got on that Zoom call and we discussed it, it was like I wanted to shoot the doc the next day, shoot the sports feature the next day. So it was, it was a really, really cool process to be a part of. But I think the coolest part was just going back to the Four Nations and reliving some of those moments, and then now watching it come to full circle and be able to package it and share it with the people that were a part of it and maybe people that didn't have a chance to. I mean, I don't know who didn't see it because the whole world was watching, but I think we were able to encapsulate everything that happened around the Four Nations event, regardless of whether you were Canadian, American, whether you were a player, whether you're a fan. There's a portion of this feature will definitely connect with you, and there's a lot of human elements in it too that I think are going to be surprises to people. Some really cool personalities that open up and talk about a few things in the doc that really add to it. So I'm excited to hear what people think.
Yeah, I thought it was really well done, and it's obviously a great primer for the Olympics, right? It sort of gets you fired up, and you sort of remember, Four Nations, this, and this happened. But I also like it from capturing history because, we didn't know what to expect with this thing, and it turned into this massive spectacle, 3 fights in 9 seconds, the sort of political, tentacles attached to this event, and the booing, and just the quality of hockey was off the charts. Was that part of it too, where it's almost like, hey, if we don't, really dig in here and do a good job, a good documentary, not that it's going to be lost in time, but this is our, it's a really good opportunity.
Yeah, and I think that's how we felt about doing it. That's how I felt. I started my production company years ago for specific reasons like this, to tell stories that are authentic to me and that resonate with me. I mean, you can slap your name on any doc, but I mean, if it doesn't connect with you, then what's the point of doing it? So for me, I started a production company for reasons like this, to be able to tell stories. And I think what you want to do is build equity in the space. I think people are going to see something like this, know that I played a role in putting this together, and know that it's close to me because I was right in the middle of it. I think it'll open up other opportunities to tell other stories. And that's what it is. We're all fans at the end of the day. I know people treat me as an ex-player, but I'm a hockey fan like everybody else. Now I'm even more so. I sit in my living room and I watch games. So I oftentimes put myself in the fan's shoes now and say, as a fan, what do I want to watch? Outside of just watching the main broadcast of a game, what would I enjoy watching? And I think that this is something everybody's going to digest easily and really take a liking to.
Yeah, I think the other biggest thing about the tournament to me is how much of a risk it was pivoting, but how much of a success it was going away from the All-Star game. And I don't think it's any secret, the Pro Bowl, the NBA All-Star game, the NHL All-Star game, they started to lose their juice a bit. Yeah. And so the NHL went ahead and did something like this. What part of NHL and hockey do you think it was able to encapsulate something and do this? Because the NBA is going to try and do it now with their All-Star game, and we'll see how it goes. But something about the sport of hockey is the reason it works so well. What do you think that was?
Well, you have to understand why the players are there. The players are there because of their competitive nature and their skill and their talent. So, asking them to do something else is it's really a risk because that's not what they're there for. These guys play hockey and they're the best in the world at it. So, when you're going to ask them to do something, I would put them in a position to be successful, and anything else they want to do outside of that should be a personal thing from them, right? If you're a fashionable guy, now you have the opportunity to show that. Right? So it's a personal thing. We're not forcing anybody to do anything. But in regards to the All-Star game, everybody's got to weigh in on that. And believe it, that the players had an impact in that too. It wasn't just Gary. And Gary, I don't think Gary's ever done one thing without considering the players first. I mean, all I ever know is he always talks about the players first because they are the product. So, it was the players that made a decision for Four Nations to be the way that it was, right? We happened to be the media. We're able to put it on steroids in terms of how we discussed it and the outlets and how we spoke about the event, but the players sold it. Yeah. And I think that's why it was important to do this, because it was on the backs of the players. And they're the winners out of all of it. And then after they win, we all win, the fans, right? Yeah. So it's a win-win all around.
Yeah. Well, and it's just such a great appetizer for what we're going to see in the next couple weeks here with the Olympics. Let's talk about Team Canada. Like, the most recent change to their lineup was Sam Bennett coming in for Anthony Cirelli. What are your thoughts? Was that the right choice? They obviously had a handful of guys they could have chosen.
Well, I love Anthony Cirelli and what he brings. He's a Stanley Cup champion. He's played in that culture for a long time. But when you talk about Sam Bennett, a two-time Stanley Cup champion, Conn Smythe winner, and a guy that plays a brand of hockey that you could literally plug him on any team, on any country, and he's automatically probably in your best players because he can play all facets of the game. So I think that, Canada has a luxury that they have guys like that on reserve.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how the lines are going to shake out, but just imagine a line of Marchand, Bennett, and Tom Wilson. Like, guys, just tell everybody else to stay in the room. Just roll that line out.
The rat
line.
I
mean, my goodness, watching those guys. I wish that there were the rules to allow the guys to fight. I would love to bend the rules a little bit in international hockey, but I don't think that's going to stop from this thing boiling over. I think there's going to be a competitive nature that's going to come out like it always does, and it should make for fun. But Team Canada is going to be fine. They're right where they need to be.
Yeah. Well, and part of the reason why they're right where they need to be now and in the future is Macklin Celebrini with this just unbelievable leap this year. Was fantastic as a rookie, but has really just worked his way into the top 10 player, list in the entire league. And he's going to his first Olympics, of course. And, one of the big storylines is, where does this guy fit in? Is he playing with McDavid? Is he playing with Crosby?
Where does he fit in?
What do you think?
Well, to me, he fits in right between a Crosby and McDavid type of player. I know what you meant by fit in, but what I'm saying is who is Macklin Celebrini? Well, he's a cross between those two players. When you think about it, he's dynamic, plays in open space, the things that he can do with the puck, his turning ability, his ability to create time and space and create his own shot, to create his own offense. That's Connor McDavid. His strength on the puck and his awareness, his IQ, his understanding on the defensive side was Sidney Crosby a few years into his career. So that's why when Sid talks about him, he talks about his whole game, because that's where players are now. They've been able to watch Crosby go through it, McDavid go through it, Stamkos go through it, Kucherov, and all these star players, and they've learned that if you can add these intangibles to your game, you get a Macklin Celebrini. That's what you're looking at. Right? No, that's what he is.
It's like he was made in the lab.
There's no other way to break it down. It's not saying that he's Crosby or McDavid, but you're going to see flashes of Crosby and McDavid every single night you watch them play. Yeah. Those two guys, guaranteed you're going to see it.
And, for people like us, we've seen him blossom and grow over the last 2 years. But there's casual fans out there that maybe think Macklin Celebrini's pretty good, but they're about to be... their eyes are about to be open in terms of the potential impact he can have at a best on best.
You know what? He's young. Because of his age, people don't expect it. Because he's not 6'3" or 6'4", they don't expect it. Because he doesn't take the puck and gallop behind the net like Con. But he does. Yeah. If you really watch, he does. And he does it in a different way that's probably more difficult for guys to do in this league. But he's got young legs. He doesn't want to cheat the game. So what you're seeing is some of the best hockey that we've seen a player come in and play because of all of those intangibles. So now his game might tweak a little bit as he gets a little bit older. It usually does. But right now to watch him play the game is fun because he plays it the right way. He does. He really does.
Yeah, and speaking of the Olympics, too, it's been 12 years since NHL players were able to play in it, and you were lucky enough to be there for that. It's not often, as fans, we get to sit down with a guy who's been to the Olympics. So I just wanted to ask you, going back to that 2014 games, is there one memory or crazy moment or anything that really sticks out when you look back at just the experience of being an Olympian?
Winning.
Yeah.
Winning at the end of the day, because nobody else really gets that experience, right?
Yeah.
How many people have won at the Olympics? So, this shouldn't be a memo or news to any of the players going to the Olympics, but you know, there's going to be a lot of distractions, a lot of great things that you can focus on. They're all fun, and they're all great. And there's times to enjoy all of the things, whether you're watching other sports. But the one thing for sure is winning.
Yeah.
I don't care if you play 2 shifts or you play 200 shifts. You want to win when you're at the Olympics, and winning is by far the best experience when you're there.
Did it feel like you guys were this sort of unstoppable juggernaut, like at the start of that tournament? Were you in your head looking around going, like, we're going to steamroll, or was it going to be a challenge and you just happened to jump over that hurdle?
We're in the cafeteria eating McDonald's every day, and I'm like, dude, look at our team. Like, can you pass the large fries? Like, Duncan Keith, please. Like, I'm like, my goodness. Like, it's just really, really cool. We're very, very privileged to have talent in any sport like that. And it to be in hockey, and I was able to just be there and see it firsthand. And it's like, to be amongst that group is just a hell of an accomplishment. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. Like, you look down and you see all the names, and you know, these are players that I've beaten in the regular season, shook their hands, but it doesn't matter. On that stage, we are all individuals, but we're all one team. And to me, that's the best team I've ever played on. You know, it's the best team I've ever seen in terms of talent.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and always around the Olympics, there's this talk of the Canadian way of playing. Like, even I think in your documentary, John Cooper says those exact words. What is that? What does that mean to you as someone who's an Olympian and been told, like, play the Canadian way?
When the game gets tough, no one's tougher than us. So that's the reality of it. And you can take that for what it is. It's not about fighting. It's not about the hitting and the physicality. It's about taking pain, understanding what's asked of you, and getting the job done. And, you know, over the history of the game, we have proven to be the best at that. And I think most countries would agree with that. But, you know, we also do that humbly, right? It's, you know, we've also been a big part of the reason growing as well. We've pushed countries to get better and have to be better. So, you know, Canada's played maybe the biggest role in the growth of the game when it's really, when you look at it. But unfortunately now, like, you know, as a Canadian, everybody's gunning for you.
Yeah.
You know, the U.S. is just waiting. Mm-hmm. Just waiting to raise that American flag with the NHL flag, with the hockey flag while we're they're just waiting for it to happen. So, you know, when is it going to happen? If it's going to happen, all of that stuff is remained to be seen. But it's up to us to make sure they wait a little bit longer, right?
Whether it's World Juniors or other events that, you know, Olympics, do you feel that target on your back as a Canadian where it's like everyone you play, it's
Dude,
their World Series?
Even when they got you ranked as fifth, everybody knows we're one.
Yeah.
Everyone knows we're one. So at the end of the day, you know, for us, we don't see it that way. The way we see it as players is we have to prove it. Every single time you put on the jersey, there's no days off. There's no second place. It's not accepted. It's just not. It's not. I don't know it. I don't know it personally. So, you know, I've only ever known what it's like to win at those events, and I'm happy that I only know that. I mean, I did lose at World Championships, but I only played one game, and I had to fly, you know, 10 hours after finishing the playoffs, and
it felt a little different.
Well, it was just different. I wasn't able to be there the whole tournament. It's still a loss. We lost to Sweden in shootout.
Right.
The Sedin brothers were there, but you know, in terms of being there for the whole tournament, those tournaments we've always found a way. And you remember World Juniors could have easily gone the other way.
Yep.
So Canada always finds a way when the game gets tough.
Yeah, it's incredible. Just before we wrap things up here, I wanted to ask you a couple quick hitters on your career, a little bit of rapid fire. I'll start. What was the favorite goal you ever scored? Do you have one?
Favorite goal I ever scored.
I've got one. Around the net, guy falls over, forehand, backhand.
Oh, the one against Colorado.
Yeah.
That one was pretty good. It would have to be meaning, you know. I'm going to go back to my first goal, man. Like, you know, like, because I think about it, you know, there were some big goals after that, but, like, what if that first one doesn't go in? Like, you know, does the game come to you as easy? Are you as confident in throughout that game? You know, and with me, it's like, you give me an inch, I'm blowing the door wide open. You show a chink in your armor, and I'm all in. And I remember that I pulled the puck off the half wall. This was in the playoffs against Pittsburgh. I'm not even talking about regular season. My first goal ever was against Pittsburgh in the playoffs. And I remember I pulled it off the wall. I think it was game one. And I shot it. And I remember Chris Letang tried to block it, hit a stick, and went 5-hole. And I remember I put my arms up and I went like this. And I knew, I said, Pittsburgh's in trouble because, like, the leash is off now. Like, now the reins are off and I can play. And that would probably definitely have been my first game. They weren't as in trouble as I thought. You know,
In hindsight.
No, yeah. Ed, I one more. This is, I think a lot more people than just me have asked this. How do you score on Carey Price? Where would you look to shoot? Because you shot against him so many times in practice. Was there any formula at all?
I mean, listen, you can score on any goalie, right?
Yeah.
If you if the opportunity presents itself. But with Pricey, what made Pricey so good for me was his size.
Yeah.
His ability to read the play. You know, Pricey was like a great puck handler. Like, he could go out there with skates and shoot, and like, he was a decent player. So he could read the game and understand what was happening. But scoring on him was difficult, man. Like, when he got into a groove, like when he was feeling it, you couldn't score on him because he would go from being a great positional goaltender to, like, not being like a ballroom dancer like you see most of these goalies today. Like, he could get jiggy with it. Like, you know what I mean, for a big guy. So, like, what I'm saying is, like, great goaltenders, good goaltenders, you got to make the first save. You know, excellent goaltenders will make the second. Great goaltenders can make seconds and third saves.
Yeah.
You know, so Pricey had that ability, right, to do that. So for me, any goaltender that can make second and third saves, if you score on them, keep the puck.
Yeah.
Pricey gives you that feeling when you score on them, you know, keep the puck.
Can I get 2 quick ones in here and just rapid fire names? Worst trash talker, best trash talker.
That's so good.
Worst trash talker. Man, it's probably me. If I'm being honest, yeah, because I would do how I would get in guys' kitchens and stuff was different. I'd like stick my tongue out at guys like at the wrong time, like guys who wanted to kill me though, like not just any dude.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? He'd hit me, the ref would call him for a penalty, and he'd be like, "You," and I'd be like this, I'd be like, ah, like I would do stuff like that. So guys probably wouldn't look at me as a chirper; they'd look at me more as an I probably have to say I'm the worst. I didn't really have too many good one-liners, you know.
Anyone really good, though?
But I knew how to use my stick. What's that?
Anyone really good? The best trash talker?
Oh, yes. Vernon Fiddler.
Vernon Fiddler.
Vernon
Out of left
Fiddler.
field.
Fiddlesticks.
Wow.
I played with them in Nashville, too. And I remember going into Nashville being like, that guy. Because I remember, like, when he chirps, he'll deliver a one-liner, but then he doesn't give you the opportunity to come back. And he'll pull people in on it. Like, he'll have the whole bench laughing and stuff. So it doesn't matter. There's no way to get back at him, right? So one time we're in Dallas, and I remember he was just giving it to me all game. And, like, I couldn't, like, there was nothing I could do about it. So I just let it be. And then I played with him in Nashville, and I knew his whole script. And then I remember, like, Ryan Kessler, it's like the final draw of when we are about to beat Anaheim to go to the finals. And Ryan Kessler takes a draw, and swings around like this, butt ends and knocks Fiddler's teeth out.
Oh,
and
God.
I see his teeth and I'm like, what the hell? And I thought they were already knocked out. So he, like, it had just knocked his retainer out or something like that. But Fids is, like, by far probably the best one that I've ever played with that I can say.
Yeah, that's great.
Legend.
Well, that's all the time we've got. PK, again, thank you so much for sitting down with us. And don't forget, tonight, February 5th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Rivals, Four Nations Face-Off.
Stick your tongue out.
Goes live on CBC TV. Be there for it, and we'll see you next time.